The most interesting thing thus far has been the fact that brides get sent off to their husbands with a casket.
Yes!
I'm like,
I know.
well.
Welcome to Books and Banter, a podcast about books. I'm Janine, a library clerk.
And I'm Jess, branch admin.
And we both work at the Winkler branch of South Central Regional Library. In this podcast, we talk about books with our own twist. We read the first half of the book and predict where it might be going, and then finish reading the book and discuss the second half.
There will be snark, there will be spoilers, and depending on the book, there may be references to violence, sex, and other adult topics. So if that's not for you, stop listening now.
All right, let's get into this week's book. Today's book is The Mermaid, the Witch, and the Sea by Maggie Tokuda-Hall. And if I totally butchered that, I apologize. In a world divided by colonialism and threaded with magic, a desperate orphan turned pirate and a rebellious imperial lady find a connection on the high seas. The pirate Florian, born Flora, has always done whatever it takes to survive, including sailing under false flag on the Dove as a marauder, thief, and worse. Lady Evelyn Hasegawa, a highborn imperial daughter, is on board as well, accompanied by her own casket. But Evelyn's one-way voyage to an arranged marriage in the floating islands is interrupted when the captain and crew show their true colors and enslave their wealthy passengers. Both Florian and Evelyn have lived their lives by the rules and whims of others, but when they fall in love, they decide to take fate into their own hands, no matter the cost. Maggie Tokuda-Hall's sweeping fantasy debut, full of stolen memories, illicit mermaid's blood, double agents, and haunting mythical creatures, conjures an extraordinary cast of characters, and the unforgettable story of a couple striving to stay together in the face of myriad forces, wishing to control their identities and destinies. This book was first published in 2020, and this is the first book in the Mermaid, the Witch, and the Sea series. Book 2, The Siren, the Song, and the Spy, was published in 2023. Some info about the author. Maggie Tokuda-Hall is an author, mediocre amateur baker, and human being of questionable judgment. From her website, this is the less helpful but more honest bio on her webpage, Pretty Okay Maggie. Maggie Tokuda-Hall is afraid of the dark. She found chapter books very intimidating as a kid, and so she read comic books and Goosebumps almost exclusively from 3rd through 5th grade. The books that most affect the way she thinks about the world are Calvin and Hobbes by Bill Watterson, and The Parable of the Sower and The Parable of the Talents by Octavia Butler. One time, she bit into a jalapeno popper that was too hot and it dripped cheese on her knuckle and burned her so badly she still has a scar, and even after a life of poor choices, this is still, somehow, her most impressive scar. She enjoys sitting in direct sunlight, noodles, and reading books with her kids. She writes books for kids and teens and adults who remember being kids and teens. So, there you go. I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Jalapeno poppers, you gotta be careful.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Also, how is that your most impressive scar?
I have no idea. She must not have a lot of scars. But
okay.
On her webpage, she had like a bio, like an official bio, and then this was underneath that. And I thought, this is much more interesting than the official bio.
Yeah, the official bio is very, like, enjoys reading as well as writing, and, you know.
Studied here and has won these awards and yada yada blah blah.
My favorite bio ever was, this author speaks Australian, British, American, Canadian, and various other types of English.
I love it.
I'm like, there you go. I haven't been able to find that bio yet, but if I ever do, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'm curious to know who that is.
It was a J.E. book.
Okay.
J.E. or J.F.?
The junior one anyway.
Junior one anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway.
It does make me want to read Calvin and Hobbes.
It makes me want to read Octavia Butler because I've been hearing a lot about her lately. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sticking to Calvin and Hobbes. Can't be Hobbes.
I'm not a fan of Calvin and Hobbes.
You heard it here first. We can no longer speak to Janine.
Oh, man, I'm hanging my head in shame.
As well, you should. Calvin and Hobbes is one of the greatest comic strips ever.
More of a Foxtrot girl.
Foxtrot's fine. It's better than Garfield, but then again, most things are. Sorry. I mean, enough about lasagna.
Apologize to the 10 to 15-year-old boys that come in here every week and check out all the Garfields.
Yes, because the Calvin and Hobbes are already checked out by all the 10 to 14-year-old girls who have taste.
Anyways, let's not argue about
Calvin and Hobbes.
Can we agree, though, that Family Circle is the worst comic ever written?
I do sort of like it, but it's mainly a nostalgia thing because that was one of the few good books that my grandma had.
Oh,
and
so bad, though.
It was that or Danny,
the Champion of the World?
No,
Okay.
Danny the Champion of the World is good.
Okay, good. I was like...
It's how you feed or raisins to turkeys. Make them
Yes,
fall
the
asleep.
best.
I still remember how to do that in case I ever
know.
need to incapacitate a herd of turkeys.
But is that actually true, though? Does it really work?
I would assume so.
Okay. Anyway.
Neither here nor there. Not talking about turkeys and raisins. No, it was some, like, bash you over the head religious thing.
Oh.
It was Danny something. It was horrible.
I'm surprised that I don't know it because I feel like we had a lot of
Put it
religious
this way.
texts in our house.
The books that my grandmother had when I was a child were the books that my grandmother had when you were a child, and probably the books that my grandma had when she was a child. So there wasn't a lot of turnover.
No. Sounds like...
Although she does have one that Chris and I will be fighting over.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Babes in Toyland.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
That and Mickey and the Giant. We have claimed those, and we will fight to the death anyone who tries to take them.
Okay, then. You should make sure she puts it in her will.
If I asked her, she'd give them to me now. But then Chris would kill me in my sleep, so...
She wouldn't.
No, she would give me some raisins that were very suspicious, and then I'd fall asleep for a while, fall out of a tree, and then she'd take the book.
True.
This has gone way off topic. This has nothing to do with mermaids, witches, and seas.
To get a safe deposit box
Yeah.
for your...
Lock it up.
Yep.
That would make sense.
Then no amount of tainted raisins would help her get that book back.
True.
Unless you actually were dead and then she... Anyway,
So off topic.
let's talk about this book, shall we?
Yes.
Let's talk about the cover.
I like the cover. It's a very interesting design, and I feel like the more that I look at it, the more things I find.
It is interesting. It's the colors really drew me in. But I also find the more that I look at it, the less I like it, to be honest. There's a weird face under the water, a giant face.
That I'm slightly confused by.
Maybe that will come in the second half.
Could be.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's very, like, it's sort of graphic artist meets illustrator.
Kind
There's a
of.
difference between the two.
These
In some ways.
This wave here looks like tentacles.
See, the more you look at it, the more things you find.
I know. It's puzzling, perplexing.
I do like the more subtle face in the background.
In the sky.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I find that quite effective.
I like the colors too, but yeah, I'm not sure.
I like it. The more I stare at it, I'm not liking it any less.
Well, that's good.
But it does leave me with more questions, like why is there a giant face?
The giant face under the water is really throwing me. And I did not see that until like just before we recorded this, so.
And I didn't see that at all until the same time you pointed it out.
Yeah.
So, anywho, what'd you think of the book itself?
Well, I'm not sure yet how I feel about this book. Honestly, I don't know.
It's one of those where I'm like, it's
See?
That's the thing. It's not that I don't like it, but it's also not that I like it.
Yeah.
Like I don't like it.
They don't know that we know they know we know.
Exactly. Like so far it's fine, but there's nothing really grabbing me thus far.
Like, I almost feel like if we weren't recording an episode about this book, I maybe wouldn't continue reading it.
I don't know that I go that far, because halfway through there's enough questions that I'm like, interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
But I find also that's all mainly about secondary characters or world building, not the main characters. Main characters to me feel a little bit flat in some ways.
Yeah.
A little bit basic.
I totally agree with that. And I'm more curious about what happened to that other lady who was on the ship. Lady, what was her name? I can't think of what her name is now, but you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah. Her mother's friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's the part that I'm like, where did she go? Where is she hiding? How did she get away?
Well,
Lady Air.
There we go. What confused me a little bit was it sounded... they took quite a while to turn slaver.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when they said at the beginning, like, by the time we get far enough away from land that we're safe or whatever, that was like a month.
Yeah.
I'm like, how slow is your ship?
Well, and because when they talked about it at the beginning, when they did it the first time, it seemed to me like it was the first night on the ship.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
That's the impression that I got anyway.
Like, and it's one of those things, though, where I'm like, well, if it was me, what I would do is turn slaver, like, a week before we get to port.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to guard them. There's no escape attempts to worry about. Everybody's merrily going along happily. And do it the week before.
Mm-hmm.
It's less hassle overall. That'd be my thinking.
Yeah.
But it sounded like Evelyn and everybody else got put into prison or whatever, their brig. But then it also talked about Lady Eyre was still, by the sounds of it, free-ish.
Well, she was missing.
Well, she was missing too, but also after everybody else got transferred. I don't know if they put her in later or what. It wasn't super clear.
No, she was never there. Like when they took all the passengers and put them there, Lady Eyre was never there. She was already then missing.
I completely missed that part.
I'm pretty sure.
I thought she was still around, because was she not raising a royal ruckus at some point after?
I don't...
Maybe I need to go reread the last couple chapters before I read the second half.
Because I feel like when they were taking them down there, then Evelyn was like, where's Lady Eyre? And I don't think she was ever there.
Lady Eyre disappeared into thin air.
Yes.
Yeah. I will double check that.
I'm pretty sure. Because they weren't there that long before they escaped.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe only a day or two.
Yeah, it was very short.
Yeah.
They definitely weren't there for any great length of time. This is bugging me now. I was sure that...
What was she making?
Sea was not like the ponds that she had grown up in, swimming in, and had been stupid to think it might be.
Duh. These characters are a little dumb.
A little bit, yep.
And I might be, like, slightly biased because I try not to do this, but before I started reading, I did read a few reviews on Goodreads.
Mm.
And they were not positive, which is why I try not to read reviews on Goodreads.
Yeah.
Before I read a book.
Lady Eyre straightened in her hiding place, heart racing. It did not bode well. She knew, of course, that of the many dangers on the sea, and she was prepared. But gunshots? Now? Deep within her trunk, wrapped in corsets, several ornate pistols waited for her.
So she was in her trunk.
Pistols were in her trunk. And does say she's still missing.
Mm-hmm. But you're at the part already when they're escaping.
Yeah.
So I don't think it mentions her after that.
I think that's pretty much the last spot. Sorry, this is just bugging the heck out of me now. I don't do well letting things like this go. But yeah, it was like a month for sure before they got thrown into the brig, and it seems odd timing for me. Okay, they're eating snacks.
Who's eating snacks?
And when there was like oh yes, these are snacks imported by my cousin, or my maid's cousin. What do you think of Alfie?
Alfie is the brother.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of a waste.
He's
not my favorite character.
I don't know. I can't find it. He is one of those characters where I feel bad for him, but it doesn't excuse his behavior.
Yeah.
I understand why he drinks, but I don't agree with the fact that he drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Because mermaid's blood sounds like one of those things that, A, gross, and B,
very gross,
really messes with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, completely and totally.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where their captain's called the Nameless Captain because he's had too much mermaid blood and can't
remember
his
name. It's so crazy.
Like,
that whole drinking the mermaid blood was like, and like, so they capture a mermaid and they want to keep her alive, so they can sell her, right? Or sell her blood or whatever. And nobody has been able to figure out how to keep this mermaid alive. Like, they've captured...
What they eat.
Yeah. And suddenly, Evelyn just instinctively knows. How does she know that?
Which, to me, seems a little bit ridiculous. You're drinking mermaid's blood. Would it not occur to you that maybe they drink blood and that's their sustenance?
Maybe, but also it seemed like Evelyn's blood gave her more, like, energy and whatever than Florian's blood did. right? Like,
Yeah.
Evelyn's blood was better for her than Florian, so why would one person's...
Also, well, that's the thing. Like, I've got questions world building wise because she keeps talking about pink people and how, you know, they can't withstand the sun, which, true. But there's definitely different races. And from what I understand and can determine thus far, I might be way off this, Lady Evelyn is Asian. Florian is black. Rake is pink.
I think that means white. Right? Because he burns in the sun.
Yeah, but like the degree to which they're saying people burn, I'm like,
Is he albino?
then it'd be even more white. Like, why would you call him pink? But that's the thing. It's never really explained. It's never really...
Like, there's a lot of...
They don't add anything. It's kind of just meh.
It's a lot of holes still in the story.
It's very Swiss cheesy.
Yes.
So...
Yes, it is.
But yeah, it could be like a race thing. That, I don't know, mermaids prefer Asian blood. Mermaids are racist. Who knew?
Yeah, I don't know, like, it's very weird. And how the mermaid transforms when she's in the sea as opposed to in the barrel.
Well,
Like, she looks different.
she looks different. The fact that she's tiny, like, they're carrying her around like a baby, and she fits in a barrel. You've got midget mermaids,
Yeah.
which, I mean, kind of cool. The other question I have, like, I think part of the reason why the mermaid is so different in the water versus in the barrel, even though it is seawater, is the sea is magic. Somehow. But they don't really explain the magic at all. Like, Florian/Flora, they keep saying that the name is a spell. Florian makes people think that she is a man, not Flora. Now, in any other book that didn't have magic, or where magic was better explained, I would assume that it's just confirmation bias where people don't look anything beyond the surface. You say your name is Florian. You have short
that
hair.
as fact.
You look like a Florian. But there's magic and it's not explained, so is it an actual spell? Because she does keep referring to it as a spell. And if so, I have questions. Because you're not doing an incantation every time you're saying your name or somebody else says your name. Like, it's...
But as soon as her clothes are off, it's very apparent that she's not Florian.
Yeah.
So...
Like, is it just...
It's a metaphorical spell. I don't know.
Like, that's the thing. It's not explained, and that's what's driving me bonkers. And at this point, there's not really any indication that it will be explained.
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of... There's a spell, and Florian is Flora, and Flora is Florian. But there's no indication that it does anything physically. It seems to all be perception-based.
Right.
So people perceive her as Florian. But is it an actual spell, or is it just, no, I say I'm a boy, thus I'm a boy?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
I know. And also, like, I, in my mind, perceive Florian as a very tiny, scrawny girl. But on the cover of the book, she is, like, a whole head taller than Evelyn. I assume that's Florian Evelyn on the book.
I would assume so, yeah.
And looks quite broad, actually. And so, I don't know.
But see, that's the thing. The magic isn't explained. And even, like, the description of Florian. You didn't know that she was black until...
Like, way far in.
Way far in. Lady Evelyn at one point says, oh, yes, no, it makes sense that Alfie and Florian are brothers because they're the only two black sailors on the ship. I'm like, there's details that'd be nice to know. When you're building a character, you need to be able to envision them.
Right.
And part of that is physical. Does it matter either way?
Doesn't really matter.
It might in the story.
It might,
we don't know
I guess.
race relations in the story. But it feels very... I feel like I know more about Rake than I do about Florian. And I would like to know more about Rake. I think his story is fascinating. Can we have a book about him, please?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I figured that he wasn't a bad guy. Because he wasn't doing bad guy things.
Yeah.
The fact that he abstained completely from mermaid blood is pretty good
Except for that one
indication.
time.
One time, yes. We won't hold that against him. But I didn't think it would go so far as to, like, no, he's actually a spy.
Yeah, that was a surprise to me, which I liked.
Oh, cool.
And I like that in the second part, there are chapters from his point of view. one thing I did have a hard time, like, I was reading and then I'd be like, what the heck? And then I'd have to go back and read. Like, my mind wandered or something, like I wasn't retaining always what I was reading. And I'm not sure if that was just me and I was tired, although I didn't fall asleep when I was reading this one. So
that's a point in its favor.
It really is. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I kept getting lost.
I found it's not that it's bad.
No, but it's also not
just
good.
Feels like it's a first draft.
In
a lot of ways. Like, you need to go back and flesh everything out a bit.
Yeah.
You need to explain location more. You need to explain characters more. You need to just kind of build on everything.
And, like, even the fact that Evelyn is Asian, like, the only reason I figured that out was because they talked about her clothing. That was what gave it away for me.
Yeah.
I guess the name could have been a giveaway, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything.
No.
It's a made-up name. Well, maybe it's a real name, but like, and again, not that it necessarily matters. I don't know. But, yeah.
But it allows you to place characters and build them in your mind so you have an idea of, I don't know, I see books in my head. I'm told some people don't do that, which I find weird.
Who are these people?
Some people don't have an inner monologue. Like, you know how you can think and you, like, think about what you're going to say before you say it? Some people don't have that, which boggles my mind entirely.
Myself is talking to myself all day long.
Oh, yes, I'm a fascinating conversationalist. I am my own best company. I know all my jokes.
Who are these strange people that don't do that?
Yeah, it's fascinating to look into it. It's the human brain is...
Oh, it's fascinating.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Anywho, but, like, when you're reading a book, you need to be able to visualize stuff. You need to have an understanding of what the world is, who the characters are. Part of that is what they look like. Part of that is size. Honestly, size. Because Flora is on a ship doing very manual labor. She's not some tiny sprite of a girl.
No.
She can't be.
No.
She would have gotten kicked off. She would have been shark bait, ooh ha ha. Like... But things like that add layers to the story, and this story is one layer.
It is. Yeah. And because I'm a white person, when I read a book, unless I know otherwise, the characters are white.
It's default setting.
It is, because that's how I grew up, in a very white bread town where there was very few non-white people. Could probably count them on one hand. And so yeah, that's my background, and that's how I see things. Unless, like, see, this I didn't look clearly close enough at the cover to see the characters, and then I would have known.
Yeah, but they're also teeny tiny.
They are very small. But, like, if you're reading a book and there's, like, a black person on the cover, well, then you know the characters in this book. Unless otherwise stated, will be black. And
well, like, even the whole pink thing, I'm like, how pink are we talking here?
yeah, right? Are we talking, like, pink sunburn, or, like, actual pink skin?
Yeah.
Or, like...
Are there, like, axolotl pink? Like, give me details here. Because if you're talking mermaids, witches, I'm not defaulting to, that's what they mean, like, they mean Caucasian. There's mermaids. Pink might literally mean hot pink. I mean, hot pink pirate would be hilarious.
It would be funny.
I'm fabulous.
Yeah, sweet.
But, like, that's the thing. Like, there's just not enough detail, not enough explanation, and the story's not carrying it. Because quite often, honestly, right now the story is like, he was guarding her, she taught him to read, they like each other, they both want to escape.
They wanted to rescue the mermaid.
Here's a mermaid, here's a rowboat.
Yeah.
There you go.
Rake's a spy.
Rake's a spy. That
was, like, the one, like,
that was the one thing where I'm like, okay, this tracks. This makes sense now, and we need to know more about this.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the rest of it, it's very flat and very...
blah.
Yeah. Not a hard read, though. Like, I felt like I went through it pretty quickly, and maybe because it is just so... Maybe because I didn't retain half of it either, apparently.
Like, it's not...
Yeah,
For this kind of thing, I feel like you can do a lot better with world building while not having to do crazy amounts of research. Like,
and, like...
Even the ship. We got next to no details about the ship.
And I've read other, like, piratey type books, which I've enjoyed immensely. This is not one of them.
Mm-mm.
If you're looking for a good pirate book, read Fable by Adrienne Young.
Yes, 10 out of 10 recommend.
Absolutely.
That book is excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Read anything by Adrienne Young.
Mm.
Sky in the Deep, one of my favorites.
I cannot confirm. I've only read the Fable series.
It's Vikings. It's fantastic.
But yeah, like 100% better than this one so far. Now maybe the second half will
I'm hoping it improves.
improve, but
even The Witch,
yeah.
like...
I'm not a witch, I'm a wife. And after what you just said, I'm not sure I want to be that anymore. Sorry.
No, fair enough. There should never not be a Princess Bride break.
Right?
I feel like the Dread Pirate Roberts should show up in here.
Yes.
Princess Bride is a better pirate story than this pirate story.
Absolutely. I mean, Princess Bride, though, I mean, you can hardly top that.
It is difficult.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
That's one I need to show my kids.
Yes, definitely.
Maybe not Caitlin. She might be afraid of the ROUSs.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. Apparently, one of the at some point, the cast had to go bail out one of the ROUSs from jail when he didn't show up to set.
Shoot. That's hilarious.
It sounds like one of those movies that half the fun was in making it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, look at the cast, though. How could that not be fun?
Exactly. Anyway, back to this not-so-fun book. There's not a whole lot of details about the witch.
Well, but her part's just barely started, so we're barely into her.
I'm curious about the fact there's a second book.
I know.
Because reading it, I'm like, this feels like a one-book thing.
Right. I really hope this book doesn't end on a cliffhanger, because that would make me so angry.
Unless the cliffhanger and the next book are all about Rake. Unless the cliffhanger and the next book are all about Rake, I'm not reading it. Not based on what we read so far.
No.
I mean, it's got half of a book to turn it around in, but yeah.
Well, it is called The Siren, the Song, and the Spy, so it's possible.
Yeah. The one thing I do like about this book is the fact that the sea is a character.
Maybe that's why there's a face under the water on the cover.
I don't think the sea looks like a smooshed version of Shrek. If I have to imagine what the sea looks like, I'm assuming it's going to be like the sea in Moana. There's a Moana 2 coming out, did you know?
I saw that!
So excited.
That's very exciting. Did you also know there's a live-action Moana coming out?
Ooh, I did not.
Yeah.
I will be adding that to my list to watch.
Dwayne Johnson is playing Maui.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean,
because he is Maui.
He is Maui.
Yeah. The only thing he's missing is a significant amount of hair.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's wigs for that.
Yes. Although it does always look very weird when a bald actor wears a wig.
Yeah.
She's like, toupee.
All right. Maybe he'll get plugs, but he can't have had plugs because he's been in public. But yes, he announced it on Jimmy Fallon. So.
Well, I will be watching both of those.
Mm-hmm.
Moana is the best Disney princess.
Really?
No contest.
I mean, I like Belle because I am Belle, but...
Stockholm Syndrome!
Yes, I know. The story of Belle is not, but...
Also the fact she didn't know that the beast was going to turn back into a dude, so she was just full-on ready to, like, okay, we're marrying the beast gentleman now.
We're marrying the beast gentleman. Yeah, no, I know. There are plot defects in that movie. However, I can identify with Belle as a character, so that's why I love her.
See, I prefer Moana. There was no prince.
Yeah.
Done.
There was just Maui.
And a wonky chicken.
I love Maui.
There is a series of squeaky toys that are like wonky chickens, and Chris and I refer to them as hey-hays because they are the most annoying squeaking thing ever. The Westies go absolutely bonkers for them. So if we ever need them to just chill for a minute, we throw a hey-hey into the mix. Hey. Anyway.
Yeah, back to the book at hand.
The boring book at hand.
Yeah, it is. My hopes for the second book are high. However, I feel like...
Second half of the book, not the second book.
Yeah, that's what I meant. You all knew what I meant. Anyways, I have high hopes, but I feel like I'm going to be disappointed. Not going to lie.
She's got a heck of a lot of world building to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's... At this point, I'm not impressed. It's blah.
Yeah.
The magic is not explained. The characters are one level. The mermaids are tiny and ferocious.
How did they manage to end up on the exact island where Evelyn's fiancé is living.
I'm not sure if the sea knew that she had a fiancé living there, or if the sea spit them out on the closest land.
Mm-hmm.
But my understanding was that as a 5-6 month voyage, they were a month, let's be generous, a month and a week in. According to the map in the front, they would not be that close. Like, there's other ports and land that are closer than the floating islands to where their approximate location would have been. So...
But they were definitely taking her to her fiancé, is what they said. So I just am curious about...
But the floating islands were supposed to be another 4 months away.
Right. So how did they get there?
Well, the sea gave them a ride.
Well, I know, but...
The sea must be a character that ends with D, or starts with D and ends with ick, that to drop her off like, oh yeah, no, here's where your fiancé lives, when if the sea knows that that's where her fiancé lives, the sea definitely knows that that's definitely not where she wants to be.
But didn't it also seem like the people on the island knew who they were, somehow?
The soldiers that came to pick her up definitely did.
And how did they know that?
Somebody washed ashore and somebody talked. The witch didn't seem to be very trustworthy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's very,
There's nothing
it's puzzling.
Explained well enough in this book. There's a lot of explaining left to do in the second half.
Agreed.
And even like what's the ruler of the sea called? Not the Imperial. The Supreme?
Yes.
Yeah, what's up with those dudes?
Yeah.
Like, they have a ship, the Leviathan, that can't be caught, presumably because the sea is on their side and, gives them a wee bit extra power. But also, what's the point? Like, if there's some kind of pirate council, they're doing a terrible job of it. Because by all indications, this ship has been running this operation for quite a few years now. And their leader is...
Yeah.
Just me.
There's more questions than answers at this point, and I'm not sure there's enough time to answer all the questions.
This is probably Weather's book too.
I don't want to read a second book.
At this point, no. I'll read the second half because I've got enough questions about what happens in this book thus far.
And also
that I need some answers.
Also because you have no choice.
Also because I have no choices. That's the thing. I have no choice.
You will read it and you will like it.
I had higher hopes for this book, honestly.
I know. When I first saw it, when we got it, I was like, ooh, mermaids and witches.
Yeah.
Seas. Oh my.
Pirates.
Yeah.
But it's so one-dimensional.
It's very dull.
The most interesting thing thus far has been the fact that brides get sent off to their husbands with a casket.
Yes.
I'm like,
I know.
Well,
that was horrifying.
That I'm like, that's cheery. Although I would say I'd rather a casket than a cow.
Well,
as a dowry.
It's a nice suitcase to pack your stuff in, I guess.
Is it though?
I don't know.
It's not a suitcase you can carry.
No, it's got a lot of space. Pack a lot of stuff in a casket. I don't know. But yeah, I thought too that was wild.
It's kind of
like, we're never going to see you again.
Never going to see you again, and your only way out of this is death. Which...
But now she's lost her casket, so... what does that mean?
I don't think the casket's anything more than, like...
Will he still marry her without a casket?
Probably. I don't think she could be blamed for the loss of casket. I mean, yeah, you jumped off the ship, but it was that or be sold into slavery, so...
Yeah.
Does your husband want you or the casket?
True.
So.
It's true.
Yeah. I don't know. As a pirate book, this is really not hitting it.
So far, no.
Put it this way. I would prefer to watch the 5th Pirates of the Caribbean movie over reading this book.
I haven't seen that one.
It is bad.
I haven't even seen the 4th one because I just couldn't.
Stick to the first 3. It's safer.
Yeah. Once Orlando Bloom left the franchise, I was done.
It gets progressively more off the rail.
I'm not
surprised. And that's saying something.
So, yeah.
We'll see if we get anything explained in the second half. At this point, I have no hope.
No.
The first page should read abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Which is depressing.
That is depressing. Now I don't even want to read the second half. We are back with part 2 of The Mermaid, the Witch, and the Sea by Maggie Tokuda-Hall. So, I have to say, I thought part 2 was better than part 1.
Agreed.
However, I still had a hard time when I was reading this book that my brain would not retain. Would not retain anything that I read. And so often I had to go back and reread something because I would read it and then I would be reading further down the page and I would be like, what the heck is going on here? And then I'd have to go back.
I still don't remember. I'm going to butcher the pronunciation on this. Ndoya? The random soldier dude.
Oh, random soldier dude.
Yeah, you don't remember him either. Every time he showed up, I'm like, wait, who's this then? New character?
Where did he...
Oh, no, it's the same guy. Okay.
Like, where was he from?
He was guarding her...
Oh, the one who was guarding Evelyn?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how to say his name.
I have no idea where he came from. I don't remember him from the first half of the book, but he's just, like, there.
No, I think he was there at the house. He belonged to the captain that she was supposed to marry. Captain? The guy she was supposed to marry.
Colonel
he was
or something.
One of his servants, I think.
Yeah, but then he's getting very familiar with her and, like, falling in love with her, but kind of just randomly out of the blue. But that character, every single time he showed up, I'm like, oh, new guy, okay. I'm like, oh, shoot, no, this is the same guy before. I could not remember him. He's just kind of random.
I know. There was a few characters like that in this book. And then suddenly we're like...
Like Guinevere... Is it Guinevere? Genevieve, sorry.
Yeah. I was like... I wrote down, I'm curious why Genevieve has suddenly entered the chat.
Yes, exactly.
Because
like it was nothing, and then it's kind of like... Wait, what are you doing here?
I know, but then I think by the end I figured out she's probably going to be the focus of the next book.
Yeah, probably.
That was...
Because it does kind of seem like the storyline for this one's kind of been done.
Yeah, that was...
Except for Rake. I think he's going to come back.
Yeah, Rake for sure. But I also think that Genevieve will be the focus. Because But
it didn't feel like there should be a second book.
But there is.
Oh, I know there is.
But
it doesn't feel like it should be.
Because it's also called The Siren, the Song, and the Spy. So Genevieve could be the spy.
Yeah.
Right?
That would make sense, actually.
So actually could be the mermaids because, oh no, mermaids and sirens are not the same.
No.
We'll get into that later. Maybe. Can't remember. Can't remember what I wrote in my fun facts. But yeah, that part sort of confused me because all of a sudden we're hearing from her perspective.
Yeah.
Like Rake's I could kind of understand.
Rake's made sense because you kind of got introduced to him about a third of the way through the book. And kind of...
Well, he was just always there on the boat.
Yeah, he was always there on the boat, but you never heard anything from his perspective. But then he kind of brought in, and, it made sense because he was a spy, and, yada yada. But then Genevieve was all of a sudden just, like, there.
Yeah.
In the last quarter, where it's like...
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Right. I know. But, yeah. There was a few things, though, that actually... shocked me in the second half, like that I did not see coming.
I didn't expect them to be turned into mermaids.
Yes, that one was a big one.
Like, I didn't think that Evelyn would stay dead.
No, I was like, no, I can't believe she died. How can she die?
See, I was a bit more like, oh, well, I'm not sad.
But I also didn't foresee Lady Air being on the other side.
Yeah.
That one to me also.
I was wondering if her and Rake would kind of team up.
Yeah, but no.
But no, that stopped very quickly.
They were on opposite sides.
That very quickly turned into no, I'm going to torture you.
Yeah. Yeah, that...
And the waterboarding.
That dry drowning sounds terrible.
No, it's waterboarding. It's prevented by the Geneva Convention. It's classed as torture.
I see why it is, because that sounds awful. But, yeah, no, I didn't see that. I didn't expect her to be...
I didn't expect her to be in league with the captain.
And they made her seem like this very docile, like, motherly-ish type character. Like, she was watching out for Evelyn, and...
I didn't get the docile vibes.
Okay, maybe not docile, but, like...
But a very...
She was a lady.
Yes, but a lady with a spine, where it's like, yes, I'm a lady, but I will take care of myself as needed. But the thing that surprised me with her, I kind of expected her to, backstab Rake at some point because, well, that's just who she is. That was her character very much. Like, don't trust her. You cannot trust her. I expected her to be working for a different person than Rake because it just didn't make sense otherwise. I was not expecting her to be working with the captain. Mm-hmm. I didn't think the captain quite had the brains for that, frankly. He always seemed a bit more the drunken stumbling around. Mm-hmm. If he stumbles onto treasure, it's very much by happenstance.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look, there's gold. Cool, shiny things. Yay.
Too much mermaid blood for that guy.
Yeah. But that being said, I totally didn't think about the fact that, and I wasn't expecting when he died, the memories were returned to the sea.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. I do have to say, I had this feeling as I was reading, like, that I'm missing some information, but I couldn't figure out what I was missing. Like, something, it just didn't feel like I was getting the full story.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know what, like, I couldn't pinpoint what that was that I was missing.
For me, it was, I wasn't sure if it was that there was information missing in the book, or if I missed it because I fell asleep.
Right.
If the information was missing, or if I was missing it. Because I'm not gonna lie, I did find this book kind of hard to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it didn't ever grab me.
Mm-mm.
It was, the second half was definitely better than the first half.
Agreed.
It was a lot more just interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't do much for world building.
No. And I had a really hard time following how the magic worked.
Yes.
In this one, like, it was very...
Like, I felt like everything was kind of just surface level.
Yeah.
The magic works because you say the magic works and that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
right?
No further questions, please.
And I'm going to recite these things, and then it's gonna, like...
Yeah.
It didn't...
How does telling a raucous story make a difference? I don't get how I get soup from that.
I know. It didn't make sense to me at all.
If I tell a raucous story, I get soup.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the incantation? Is it the story that I tell it? Is the truth behind the story? Is it a specific kind of rock?
Mm-hmm.
My question is, how do I get soup?
Mm-hmm.
I just want soup.
Give me the soup. And, like, if I can just tell a rock a story, does it matter what story I tell it?
And for all of the... what's the witch's name?
I don't know. The witch. What was her name?
I don't know, but I kept reading into Xenophobia.
Zenobia.
Zenobia.
Yes, Zenobia.
Yeah, okay. Zenobia that I kept...
Xenophobia.
Xenophobia every time. Zenobia. For all that Zenobia kept going on about... There's consequences, there's a price, you know, whatever. At no point did I ever see What's-Her-Face have to pay a price. Flora.
Yeah. And, like, the pacing in this book was fast, which I liked, but I think it was too fast.
It zipped over some details that I'd really like to have.
Yeah. Yeah. I think...
Like the fact that apparently if you just go tell a story about your brother, it'll just take you to him.
Yeah.
Like a locator beacon. I need more science to this magic.
Well, that's not what fantasy is about.
I know, but generally there's a bit more like, it works based on this, or it works based on that,
Yeah.
or it's the light that comes from the Stormfather, from the storms, that recharges the, you know, yada yada.
No, I know. It's... I know, and like, that's the thing, like... I read through this book, like, super fast.
Mm-hmm.
Faster than I would read most books, probably. And I feel like, because it went so fast, like, suddenly she was with the witch, and then suddenly she was mad at the witch because...
Reasons.
And then suddenly she had this knife, and she found Evelyn, like, super fast, and then they were on the way to her brother, and she's telling the knife a story, and the rock is making them soup.
The fact that they got on the ship and just let their boat float away. I'm sorry, that still irks me. You never let a boat float away. You tie it on, for crying out loud. Just don't. Escape plans, ladies. Come on.
There was more boats on the ship, though.
Yes, but if I'm running away from, say, a roving gang of pirates who really doesn't like me, I don't have time to take a boat, flip it over, haul it down over the side of the ship. Remember, it was a 3-person job first time around.
Yes.
That'd be much easier if I could just jump over the side. There's a boat tied to the stern. Zoop. Bye-bye.
Yeah, as long as they brought the rock, then they'll always have soup.
Just, pardon me, pirates, soup time. Snack break!
Now I'm just picturing Dwayne Johnson.
You know, when you write with a bird, it's called tweeting.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I don't know, like...
I feel like this book could have gone through about 3 more edits and revisions.
Yeah, and... For as much as I appreciated that it was a fast read and, like, short-ish, I just feel like I only got half the story.
Yeah.
You know, like...
But I also don't feel like reading the second one's going to give me more.
No, I know.
Like,
I don't know if I want to read the second one.
I don't. Okay. I don't know if I missed it because I fell asleep. Or if there just wasn't in there. What the heck was going on between Zenobia and the Pirate Supreme?
I don't know.
Because somehow they were connected. And Zenobia and the Pirate Supreme, something about... I don't know.
I don't know.
They were connected somehow, and by all intents and purposes that I could figure, they were in a relationship at some point, but there was no indication of what the heck happened. And or the Pirate Supreme in general. Who are they?
Yeah.
How did they get to be so powerful? Who let them in charge of the Leviathan?
Maybe that's in book 2.
I doubt it.
Because there was a lot of unanswered questions about the Pirate Supreme. But he actually seemed like a very nice man when we finally met him.
Non-gendered.
Oh, right. They
seemed like a very nice person.
Yes, sorry. My bad.
Yes, they did. But also, I'm confused by this entire thing. Like, again, it feels like everything was half developed.
Yeah.
Pirate Supreme. Oh, just believe me, he's powerful. They're powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, the witch. Just trust me, the stories work.
Nobody's ever beaten their boat.
Yeah.
Ever.
The whole Captain Callum,
Yeah.
whatever his name is,
The future husband.
the
The fiancé.
the financier, the whole, we want to take over the Red Island, one of the places, I forget what it was called.
They want to beat the Pirate Lord King.
Pirate
Supreme.
That dude. The Red Shore.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Was I think the one that they wanted to take over. For no other purpose than because they wanted it. And the whole, like... Okay. The whole Evelyn, her parents basically selling her to Callum.
Mm-hmm.
The Dove operating with full Imperial knowledge of its activities. And basically sacrificing noblemen to be a fire starter and create a diplomatic incident so you have an excuse to start a war, really was glossed over there.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
Yes.
I feel like we could have kind of maybe fleshed that out a little bit.
This book probably could have been twice as long.
Yes. And twice as good.
Yeah.
Like, it just... You had this whole thing, and it was kind of like, oh, yes, I heard that as I was leaving. Bye, I'm a mermaid now. Like... Seriously. Swim away.
Yeah.
Because Evelyn heard that as she was leaving and was mad at her parents because, yeah.
Yeah, well, her parents were jerks.
Straight up. And then found Flora. They tell a story to a knife. The knife goes zippity-doo-dah and gets them to where they need to be. At no point do they inform Rake or the Pirate Supreme, hey, by the way, guys, we figured out this very crucial, like, the reason behind it all for most of the wars that have been happening.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Dove colluded and goodness knows how far this thing goes.
Doesn't matter. He's a Pirate Supreme.
Like...
Never ever lost in battle.
The Leviathan sounds pretty awesome. But tell Rake that. Pass on the message. Do something other than just swim away to eat kelp. Like...
Is that what they were doing? Eating kelp?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know what.
You're just making that up.
Well, put it this way. The
You're
mermaid survived on blood when she was in the barrel. What did they survive on in the ocean? It's not human blood. That's a very tricky food source. Dolphins?
Maybe they just don't.
Whales?
They don't need food.
Sharks?
Speaking of sharks, did you hear about the stingray in an aquarium that has been in a tank with no male stingray and is pregnant?
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that fascinating?
I know.
Honestly, nature is the wackiest thing ever.
I know, it's wild.
Like, hugely fascinating.
They said it's not possible, but I was really hoping for a shark stingray baby. Because there are sharks in the tank.
That does sound like the beginning of a movie, probably starring, who's that Australian guy that died? You know, it's a town I know.
Like Heath Ledger?
No.
Okay.
No, look at the beautiful brown snake.
Oh! Crocodile Hunter!
Yes! What's his name?
Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin. Yes.
Look at those teeth. Beautiful. I love Steve Irwin. Oh my gosh.
It does sound like a shark stingray baby is the beginning of a movie that stars Steve Irwin.
Yes. How amazing would that... Oh my gosh.
I mean, his son's alive.
Yeah, I know. His son doesn't have quite the same personality as him, though.
I would hope not. We're not all carbon copies of our parents. If
No,
we were,
I
that
know.
would be terrifying.
But, what I mean is it wouldn't be as fun.
No. I think it could be a blast.
Well...
It's still a shark stingray.
Well, yes. But the scientists have said that that's not possible.
Fuddy-duddies.
I know. Just you wait. That stingray is going to come out with jaws.
Stingrays do have jaws.
You know what I mean? Shark jaws.
Better yet, it's going to be a shark with a tail that zaps people. Yes. That would be fantastic.
The ultimate predator.
Yes. Excellent. You know, there's not a whole lot of upgrades you can give a shark, but that I think would be one that'd be pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, get on that.
Maybe. We'll see what happens.
We'll send it over to the Sharknado guys. They'll do something with it.
Oh my gosh. Those are the worst.
Didn't say they were good.
Did you watch any of them?
I think I watched the first one. Kind of goes off the rails, Dad.
I watched at least 2, maybe 3. Anyway.
I feel like they're one of those things where, like, 100 years from now, there's going to be an archaeologist that digs that up and goes, my word, cocaine in the day was pretty serious stuff. I can see why they've been banning all these drugs.
Have you heard of the cocaine bear?
Yes, it's a movie. It was.
I know. Did you watch
hugely?
the movie?
No. There was an actual cocaine bear.
Well, I know.
And it was wildly overinflated.
You know, but it's a funny concept.
It is a funny concept.
Anyway.
I would argue cocaine raccoons would be scarier than cocaine
That
bears.
would be terrifying.
Cocaine bears just seems like they would be like a bear that goes twice as fast as normal. Cocaine raccoons would rip your face off.
Raccoons are terrifying to begin with.
Exactly.
Hop
Now
them up
add
on cocaine yet? Yeah. No.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure if you gave cocaine to a squirrel, you could break the sound barrier. Maybe even the speed of light. We should stop talking about giving animals drugs.
Yeah, we should.
Sorry, Linda.
So anyway, I don't know if I would recommend this book, personally.
It's, I mean, quite honestly, even though it got better in the second half, there's better out there.
Yeah.
Whether you're talking about mermaid books, witch books, or sea pirate books.
Like, yeah. If we decided to read sequels or the book 2 in the series that we've started, all the series that we've started, this would be probably bottom of the list.
Yep. I don't know. Like, I feel like there's a lot of, as a first draft, good.
Yeah.
This is enough to get you a publishing deal.
As a fully published novel, though?
As a fully published novel, you take it back to the drawing board and you keep working on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
agreed.
It's not ready yet.
It's not. But the cover was like...
Cover's quite nice.
Captivating enough until you see that face under the water, which is kind of creepy.
I'm still trying to figure out what the heck that is.
I know.
If that's the sea, they look a lot more like a blobfish than I thought they would.
But, like, the title and the cover was enough for me to pull this off and say, hey, this might be interesting, because these are all interesting things, right?
Well, the premise of it sounds interesting. It's just the execution where it falls down.
Yeah.
Like...
It was poorly executed.
I was going to make a Marie Antoinette joke, but I don't think I will.
Okay. I don't know anything about Marie Antoinette except the cake.
She was executed.
Was she poorly executed?
I'd argue, yes.
Anyway, I did see the movie, but it was terrible. The one with Kirsten Dunst.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
It's bad.
I prefer my history with facts. It does just seem like the kind of thing that would be taking a glorified or villainified look at her rather than anything approaching accuracy.
Yeah, I don't really know, but...
I'm very much making a judgment based on the fact that I've seen the cover once.
Yeah.
So.
It's very bright.
Yes. Which, considering it was the French Revolution, not a very bright time, unless you count the flames of the noble houses that really did light up the night quite nicely. Sorry, I'll stop with my burn the rich rhetoric, and we shall continue on. Janine, do you have any fun facts?
Yes, I do. Today's fun facts are all about mermaids.
Yay!
I had so much fun researching this. Part of my research included watching a video of a dolphin give birth. So, there you go.
Fun fact, that's not how mermaids are born.
I think they were trying to say that it could be.
Did the dolphin giving birth video convince you?
No, because mermaids don't really have the same parts.
Breaking news! Mermaids don't have the same parts as dolphins! Who knew?
Anyways.
Sorry, I'll stop messing with it.
There isn't much evidence, except for speculation, that mermaids existed. However, these legends can be found all over the world. Some believe that aquatic mammals such as manatees and dugongs inspired mermaid legends. There's even an account from Christopher Columbus saying that members of his crew had spotted mermaids, though they were ugly and seemed more masculine than the mermaids in legends.
If you're wondering what 6 months on a ship will do.
Yeah, right. More recently, the figure of the mermaid has been adopted by the transgender youth network, Mermaids UK. Founded in 1995, this organization supports children and young people who are transgender and or gender diverse. The symbol of the mermaid provides a potent symbol to the community due to the mermaid's ability to transform. With the absence of physical genitalia, the sex of the mermaid is irrelevant.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought you would find that fact particularly interesting. I don't know why, but...
Well, it makes sense. Like, mermaid reproduction is one of the big questions of the mermaid mythology.
It was covered extensively in one of the articles that I read for my research. We will not go into mermaid reproduction and these fun facts.
Which is a shame, because it is a fact I could argue about for quite a while. Mermaids in general, frankly.
Sorry to disappoint. Anyways, while the word siren is a translation of mermaid in many languages, there is a difference between the two. According to folklore, mermaids and sirens are not quite the same. Sirens and mermaids are both half human, half fish. In fact, sirens are often considered to be a different type of mermaid. Sirens are predators. Sirens are the bad guys, the ones who lure sailors to their deaths. The ones who you picture with spikes, sharp teeth, webbed hands, and fierce eyes. They are portrayed as monstrous beasts who eat humans in some cases. Sirens are known to use their haunting voices to lure sailors to their death. How they actually kill them varies. In
Drowning.
some folklore, sirens drag sailors to the bottom of the sea and they drown. In other tales, the ship crashes into rocks and kills everyone aboard. But there are also tales of man-eating sirens. Sirens may be bloodthirsty, whereas mermaids prefer a different diet. Do we get into that here? We do not. That is the end of my fun facts for today.
I was going to say, and mermaids eat what, Janine?
I could not tell you.
I need more details. How am I going to capture one if I don't know how to lure it in?
I could have gone on for a whole another 3 pages probably about all the mermaid information that I found.
You didn't cover the Fiji mermaid.
I didn't. No, because it grossed me out. And I just couldn't. I looked at it and I gagged a little. And I thought, I cannot talk about that. What was I watching yesterday? I was watching this video on YouTube and this guy was like reacting to a video, and while he was talking about it, he was gagging, and then I was gagging. It was this whole thing. Anyway, I did not. You can tell about the Fiji. Blah, 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 blah. You can tell about the Fiji mermaid if you would like.
I will only say that you guys should go look it up because it is an interesting tale.
Definitely Google it. It's horrifying though. So
It's not that bad.
It's ugly. It's ugly.
It's ugly. It's not like, Christopher Columbus, look, a mermaid. Yeah, no, that's a manatee, dude. It's not exactly as gorgeous as a manatee is. It's not that bad.
Manatees aren't gorgeous.
Would you say a manatee's gorgeous in comparison to the Fiji mermaid?
Yes.
Yeah, see, that was my point.
True.
So,
True
but
enough.
yeah, look into it.
Something
it was
to look into.
Exhibited at, what's the big circus guy?
Barnum.
Yes, Barnum and Bailey's. Yep.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it's quite an interesting tale.
Something to see.
Mm-hmm. Part of the thing with Fiji mermaid was it was believed to have been basically assembled by taxidermists, for lack of a better term. We're using the term taxidermist very loosely. As professionals, they definitely were not. But part of the reason why they believe it is because that was actually quite a common thing amongst dodgy naturalists at the time. Basically making their own creatures and going, look, it's real, I promise.
That's what Dr. Seuss did.
Exactly. Well, Dr. Seuss was different. It's more of a sculpture art thing for him. I don't think it ever once he went, look, it's a Hufflepuff, I promise it's real.
Well, you never know. You weren't there.
But the platypus, when they originally brought the platypus back from Australia, and this is the platypus that is still on display in the British Museum, because heaven forbid the British Museum let anything go, they did not believe that it was real. They figured somebody had just stitched it together because it's got a duck bill, it lays eggs, it's poisonous, and it's a mammal. Like, it looks for all the world like, yeah, no, somebody got a couple leftover parts and went, well, let's see what we can make. But as a result, like, they cut into this thing every which way to try and prove that it was, like, not an actual animal. And that is still the same one that is on display at the British Museum because platypuses are too crazy for science.
I can confirm they are real.
I've got one in my pocket.
No, I saw one once. It was swimming. It was alive.
They're
It was alive.
such weird little things.
They are. They're kind of adorable in their own way.
Oh, they straight up are.
Yeah. But,
As my grandpa called them, a platypus.
but yes, I can confirm. They do exist.
So, random, not mermaid, but platypus fun fact.
There you go.
So, I don't have anything more interesting than that to say. Platypus, that's the peak.
For some reason, I just want to say amen.
Just leave it there.
I don't know.
Platypus, amen. Like a role of revivalist preacher. Can I get an amen for the platypus? Can you give me an amen? I think we're done now.
I think so.
So that's what we thought of the book, but those are just our opinions, and we'd like to hear yours. Leave us a comment.
Thanks for joining us for Books and Banter, and thanks to our editor, Linda. We'll see you next time.